Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to this Verbling class. My name is Amy and we're going to be doing a class in my series called Around the World in 80 Days today, which is where we travel around the world in our imaginations. Well, we are all in different places at least, and we have a look at some countries and learn things about them that we may not know, or something specifically interesting about them. And we've done one class on India before, but because it's such a big, interesting country, we had a lot to talk about. So I'm going to do another one today, and we're going to look at the rest of the points, not just about India today, but also about the things it mentions and whether they're relevant or not, and how they relate to your own countries of origin. So it's quite fun finding out about all of the different places around the world where you guys come from, and comparing them with each other. So it's going to be some reading, a little bit of speaking practice with your pronunciation as you're reading, some vocabulary, and then some talking about what we think and what happens in our respective countries. Before we get started, I will do my usual administration jobs, which is to let you know about the useful pages that are available on Verbling for you to find out more. There's number one is the Facebook page. That's my Verbling Teacher Facebook page. Which you can go to just to have a look and see what's going on, what classes I've been offering and what resources I put up, some videos, some extra reading, lots of interesting stuff on there to keep you in touch. And then another page which can be handy for you is my Verbling Teacher page. So this will tell you all the info you need to know about me as a teacher, what my schedule looks like, when my classes are, a little bit about me and my history as a teacher. You can also have a look at some sample classes, and if you're interested you can book a tutoring session, which is when you just have a class, you and me, and we can focus on some things that maybe you want to look at which we don't have time to cover in class, or we can't because there's too many other students. So welcome everybody, and let's say hello and see who we've got. So let's say hi to Noelia.
Hi.
Hi, it's good to meet you, Noelia. Where are you from? Have I met you before? I can't remember now.
No, we haven't.
All right. Well, then it's good to meet you. And where are you from?
Okay, I'm from Spain. I'm from the Canary Islands.
Oh, wow. Which one?
Gran Canaria. Do you know that? Yeah, the biggest one.
Yeah. I haven't been, but actually the rest of my family has. They once went on holiday without me.
Oh, really?
That's where they went. Yeah. They said it was really beautiful.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Do you live there right now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And wow, you're so lucky.
All my family are from here, so.
Wow, that is so cool. So you're a true islander.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Noelia. Well, it's going to be interesting finding out about the Canary Islands today.
Okay.
And how long have you been learning English for?
Sorry?
How long have you been learning English for?
Oh, I've been learning English for a long time. Since I was a child, probably I started learning English when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
But you know, it's easy to learn by writing, but speaking is harder. So.
That's very true. I have the exact same problem with Spanish. I also speak Spanish, but speaking is always the most difficult, isn't it, when you're not in the country?
I couldn't agree more.
All right, well, it's good to meet you. I can see that you possibly have been to the USA by your picture.
Yeah, I've been to. I was so excited to go to New York, and I made it. So.
Woohoo! And you took a great picture by the Statue of Liberty.
Yay!
All right, well, welcome. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, who else do we have? We have Janani?
Jenna.
Jana?
Yes.
All right, Jana, where are you from?
I'm originally from China. Right now I'm living in the United States.
Oh, wow, that's great. And which part of USA do you live in?
Midwest?
Midwest. Oh, so it's far away from New York, relatively. Quite far away? Alright. How long have you been studying English altogether, would you say? Did you start learning at school?
Yeah, when I was in China, I was learning English, and then when I go to US, I have more opportunity to learn more from the people around me. But as a learner, I always feel like there's some word that I didn't pronounce quite right, just like the native speaker. So I always try to find more opportunity, try to learn more.
Alright, well, welcome. It's great to have you in the class. It sounds like your English is already really super good.
Oh, thank you.
So we've got China, we've got the Canary Islands, we've also got Brazil, so we'll say hi to Rafael.
Hi, Amy.
Hello again. We just saw each other in the other class. Rafael's from Brazil, so hopefully he's going to share a bit more about Brazil with us as we read about India today, I hope.
I'll try.
Alright, and also hello to Dean. Dean, I've forgotten where you said you were from, or did I ask you? Where are you from?
Hi teacher, hi classmate. I come from Panama.
Panama!
Yes. Do you know? I remember that. Oh my country.
I know some stuff. I've never been there, but I would love to. But actually, my uncle and auntie went on a cruise last year, and they went down the Panama Canal in their cruise ship, and they said that it was very cool.
A lot of tourists visit my country.
Yeah, just for that reason, right?
Yes.
It's just amazing to see such a huge man-made kind of thing, which I don't know, which it kind of crosses a continent, really, doesn't it? So
Yes.
I can understand why people want to go and see it. Have you been to see it yourself?
Yes, I've been in the canal, but for me, it's not a big deal. Do you understand? It's normal.
Of course, because you're from Panama.
I always see people or tourists watching the canal, but for me, it's not the big thing. I think so.
All right, that's totally normal, I think, Dean.
Yes.
Because I don't find Big Ben very exciting either. But it's the type of thing everybody wants to go and see when they go to London. So I don't know. If you live there, it's not as exciting for you. Okay, guys. So what we're going to do is I've given you the link there. It's in the chat box. So you might want to load that up into your own window. I'm also going to do a screen share right now. We've already read some of this, but I will do a little introduction for you just to show you what we've read so far. And if you'd like to read that yourself later on, then go ahead. So we've got a nice kind of interesting and quite long article about India. Has anyone ever been to India?
No.
No
I
one?
haven't.
No? Alright, so none of us have first-hand experience. We're all going to be learning it together, because I haven't either. We've read so far that the fact that it's a very populous state, so it has a lot of people, which I think we probably know. It used to be an island, very, very, very long time ago. So we discussed a bit the geography of our countries. And then we talked about language. So obviously India has loads of different languages, and we were discussing the languages in our own countries. And last lesson, when we had this, I kept getting shut out of the class, so I hope that doesn't happen today. We're going to start with megacities. So can anyone tell me before? Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt your class, but I had to go. I need to do something. I'm sorry. Bye-bye.
No problem. Bye, Dean.
Your class is very good. I like your class. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dean. Okay, see you later.
Okay.
All right. So Dean's disappeared. That means we've got 3 of us left, or 4, including me. Can somebody explain to me what is a mega city? What does that mean?
Mega, is it mean a big city?
Yes, exactly. Not just
huge,
big.
Impressive, huge.
Yeah, it's more like huge. Yeah, it's ginormous, impressive, amazing. A big city is, well, I guess there's a lot of big cities in the world, but there's not that many mega cities. So we're going to start off by reading, and then I want to ask you about your countries. You can see here a nice picture of an Indian lady with a bicycle, and it says underneath this. So I'm going to ask Noelia, could you read for us, please, starting with the caption, which is here.
Okay. Finding Finding water in India's city slums is a challenge.
Excellent. Okay, so I think we've all heard about India's big cities, and they obviously have lots of problems because of such a high population and the difficulty in providing everybody with what they need. Noelia, would you like to read this for us? And everyone listen. Do your best. I'm sure that you're going to be a great reader. If you have any problems, I will help you.
Okay, thank you. India has 3 of the world's top 10 megacities, one more than China. According to the UN, Delhi is now the second largest urban agglomeration in the world, with Mumbai ranked 7th and Calcutta 10th. The population of Delhi and its immediate urban hinterland is now over 22.65 million and is only surpassed by Tokyo. In the 17th century, Delhi was briefly the most populous city in the world, but by 1960, Delhi was not even in the top 30. The growth since then had been the growth since then had been more than 4% per annum. That growth rate is beginning to fall, but it's still over 3% annually. That represents a yearly increase in population through childbirth and migration of about 700,000 people, putting a severe strain on the resources of India's capital. Water remains a major problem, with almost a quarter of the city's households not having a regular water supply. 6 other Indian cities, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Pune and Surat, feature in the UN's top 100 urban agglomerations.
All right, that was really beautiful reading. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody have any questions about vocabulary here? We've got a few kind of tricky looking words. Would anyone like to ask about any of them?
Hinterland.
Yeah, this is an unusual one. Does anyone know what a hinterland is?
No.
Basically, it's sort of like the area just outside of the urban area. So you have the city's boundaries, and then you get the hinterland.
It's like in the sticks or no?
Yeah, it can be. So yeah, it tends to be like the desolate areas, but because we've got it in this particular context, it says it's a median urban hinterland. It's referring to the area just outside the urban area.
Like in the border, right? In the border.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
I'm having a question about the last word. Is it called agglomeration?
Agglomeration, yeah. What is an agglomeration?
Yeah.
Does anyone know?
Many people together. Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Overpopulation. Right?
Yep. So that's correct. Yeah. So agglomeration is just basically a large group of something. So in this case, because we're talking about urban agglomerations, we're talking about kind of collections or groups of urban areas, like cities, with lots and lots and lots and lots of people. All right. Any other questions? No?
Also, let me see. It says more than 4% per annum, right? Per annum?
Correct.
Per annum is the same meaning as per year?
Correct. Yep. I think annum is a Latin word, but we do tend to use this instead of like per year sometimes.
Or
it's just
annual.
another option. Yeah, annually, or per annum or per year. Yeah.
Okay.
Here we've got annually, you can see. All All right, so I'll just say a quick hello to Nestor, if you're there. Hello, Ernesto, are you there? No? How about Emmanuel?
Hello, teacher. Good afternoon. I have a problem with my computer. I can hear.
Okay.
I can
Yes,
hear.
you can. Okay, can you hear me okay now? I can hear you fine.
Let me try to fix it, teacher.
All right, no problem, Ernesto. Let me know when you're ready.
Thank you.
And we'll say hi to Emmanuel as well. Hi, Emmanuel.
Hi, Amy.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. What about you? All of you?
I'm great, thank you. We're just reading about India today, and we're going to discuss our countries in a moment. Emmanuel, where are you from?
I'm from Mexico.
All right. Excellent. So we've got lots of different countries today, which is great because we're going to learn about them all. And we'll ask Ernesto again in a moment. And we've got Jana, who's from China originally, right, Jana?
Yes.
And we've got Noelia, who's from the Canary Islands, which is part of Spain. And we've got Rafael from Brazil. So we've got cool countries to talk about, very different, very diverse. What I want to start off by doing is we just read about megacities. And I'm not going to ask Noelia first. I'm going to ask Rafael. Rafael, you have some, I don't know whether they'd be called megacities, do you know? But they're certainly very, very large cities, right?
Yes.
Tell me about them. Do these cities, whereabouts do you live? Remind me.
I'm from Rio de Janeiro.
And how many people live there?
I think I don't know exactly the numbers. I think it's around 9 million people live in Rio.
All right, so that definitely counts as a big city. What kind of problems does Rio face because of its population? Does it face any problems?
Several problems. Increasing violence, lack of infrastructure. The city is too many crowded, and lots of traffic jams and pollution and I already mentioned violence, public transportation problems, and health problems because there are no enough hospitals, good hospitals to everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and lots of and several other problems like big cities have.
Yeah, I think most big cities face similar issues, don't they? Especially depending on which country they're in. But it seems to me that Rio sounds as if it has similar problems to what India's facing. Why do you think, Rafael, that people still want to live there when Brazil has so much nice countryside?
Well, it's a hard question. People, I don't know, although in spite of all these problems, I think people prefer live close to Rio because we have there is a matter of fame, the most famous city, and there are also how can I say, there is a question of employment because the biggest industries are located in Rio and São Paulo, so that's why people want to live here because due to better job opportunities, they have more opportunities to qualify, increase their life standard. Because unfortunately, in the other regions of the country, they might not have the same opportunities to have this life standard.
Mm-hmm. All right, so they're willing to put up with some crowd and all of the problems that you mentioned just to try and get a better life for themselves, really.
Yes, yes. Lately, this scenario is starting to change, but it's still in the same way. It's
still has an effect. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's ask Jana, because Jana, China's obviously a rival of India in the sense of its population. What part of China were you from?
South.
The south? Were you from a big city or the countryside?
I'm from a small village, so at that time I was a child. I don't really remember too much about China, but I do remember people complaining about the pollution in the air. If you go to a big city and when you come back, a lot of people have a hard time to breathe, and they're glad when they come back to the village. That's how they feel. And I also know that we're having trouble with the traffic jam, and for some of the big city, whenever we have traffic jam, it can take hours or days to resolve the issue.
So that's a real big problem. When people need to travel around a city. What's the public transport like, Jana? Was there good public transport, or do most people use cars?
A lot of people use bicycle at the time when I was in China, but right now I think there's more people having cars.
Yeah.
But for China, you don't really need to own cars because for public transportation, like the bus, is really popular. If you had a bus, you can go anywhere.
Okay, so that's at least one advantage, and I guess that's a small solution to getting rid of some of the vehicles on the roads. All right, interesting. Let's see what Emmanuel has to say. Emmanuel, do you live in a city or in the countryside?
Well, currently I live in Guadalajara, but I've been to Ciudad de Mexico, which is real. It's big enough.
Yes.
And well, seems like Mexico City is one of the biggest in the world. Most of people uses cars. Personally, I think most of the people here in Mexico have no PR culture, or how would you
They
call
have
it?
have no what?
Transporting culture, or
They don't like using public transport, do you mean? It's not part of their culture?
yeah, most of the people prefer to drive, and
Okay.
I think that's a real problem.
Definitely. So you could say, for example, Emmanuel, there's no culture of using public transport. So that definitely makes it more difficult. Whereas I think from what Jana said, in China, most people do use public transport, right, Jana?
Yes.
It's kind of like the normal thing to do, where in Mexico City, the normal thing to do is have a car, but the problem with that is there's just too many cars, right? Emmanuel, I wanted to ask you, I heard about something a little while ago. It was where you had to, in Mexico City, people were issued with permits and they were only allowed to drive their car on certain days of the week. Is that true? Do you know anything about it?
Excuse me, which was the question?
So I read or heard, I can't remember where, about some kind of system in Mexico City whereby people, for example, in a household are issued with some kind of a permit, and the permit says you're only allowed to drive your car on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Sorry, there's a program that is called Hoy No Circula. Today doesn't.
Yeah.
Certain cars and don't are not allowed to travel or to be in the streets during certain days in the week. But seems like that's not enough.
It's not enough. Oh my goodness. Do they have any plans for trying to encourage people to use public transport more?
Well, I prefer to go to my job in public transport. And if I could, I would go in a bicycle or walking, but I live too far from my job,
From your job.
and I definitely encourage all the people that can do it to do it.
Is it quite safe? For example, if you ride a bike in Mexico City, is it quite safe or is it quite dangerous to do that?
It's dangerous. It's dangerous, actually.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think that's probably something that puts people off. How about in China, Jana? Is it quite safe to ride a bicycle in the city, or is it still pretty dangerous?
I think it's quite safe because whenever you try to ride a bicycle, there's a lot of people around you. So if there's a car pass by, there's always someone they can they can run
Pick
over.
you up off the ground. Yeah.
So you'll be safe.
Yeah, I think probably sounds like it's safer in China, just maybe because there's more people doing it. So it's like safety in numbers, we say in English. You've got all those people backing you up. Okay, let's ask Noelia. Noelia, now tell us about your islands. Obviously, you don't have any mega cities, but maybe you could talk about Spain as well. What's it like living in such a beautiful, quiet, relaxing place, or is it not beautiful, quiet, and relaxing?
Most people picture this island like very small and relaxed and peaceful, but I think that the capital of Gran Canaria is one of the 10 most populated in the country, in Spain.
Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. And I think that the capital, Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, I'm going to check it, but I think they have, okay, let me check. There is population, I think it is 100,000 people, so which is not bad.
15, I think you mean 15,000.
Okay, no,
150,000?
400,000.
Ah, 400,000.
Okay,
All right,
400,000. Yeah,
there we go.
it. And yeah, it's not a mega city. It's just a city, a normal city, probably. But the rest of the island, it's more like countryside, and the south of the island, it's very touristic area. So there are many hotels and apartments. That's how it is. So depends a lot whether if you go to the north to the city or you go to the south to the beach and hotels and that stuff. So you can go with public transport, but it's not too cheap. It's a bit expensive. And probably if you have a car, you don't use public transport, so you just go with your car, or you gather with your friends and go with the car. And yeah, I think that public transport don't work as good as people want, because the schedules are not really good. So probably if you go to the stop and you have to wait for more than 20 minutes or 30 minutes, so that's not really pleasant. So most people, if they could, they go with their own car. So
yeah, they go in their own car. Yeah, absolutely.
In their own car. Yeah. And I don't
like
live
New Zealand, Noel.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't live neither the capital nor the south, so I live in the southeast of the island, and it's small, but it's enough. I think that you can find everything because we have cinemas, theater, shops, so it's like you have both of the city and the village.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's true. The best of both of them.
That sounds amazing, Noelle. I think I'm going to move to where you live.
Well, you're more than welcome to come.
Thank you. All right, so it's amazing what contrast we have between the countries that we're from today. Ernesto, are you there? Are you fixed up yet?
Yes, teacher. I'm listening everything that you're talking about. Now
Excellent.
I have my computer. Yeah, is working now. Thank you.
Yay! No problem. Now, Ernesto, remind me which country you're from?
I'm from Mexico. I'm from Guadalajara, is Mexico City. And
All right, so
now it's at 7:30 p.m. Teacher.
yes, in the evening, right?
Yes, teacher.
Did you hear what Emmanuel was saying about Mexico?
Yes, teacher. I was listening. You are talking about the cities,
Yep.
the things of the cities, and how the city is. I was listening something like that.
Yeah, that's true. I just wondered, do you agree with Emmanuel? Is there anything you'd like to add that he didn't mention?
Yes, teacher.
So you do agree?
I am a great teacher.
Yep. All right. Okay, I'll come back to you in a moment then, Ernesto, with the next piece. So I'm going to we're going to go down to the next point, guys. And this is about the number of voters in India. Would anyone like to attempt to read out that number in English? Somebody brave?
It's India city.
Yes, so exactly. We're going to read about this topic.
Oh, yeah.
So hang on. Who's going to do it? Good question, Ernesto. Would you like to volunteer?
Yes, teacher. Why not?
Excellent. Can you start by reading out how many voters there are? It tells you here in the orange box.
Teacher, okay, let me read. India prides itself on being the world's largest democracy. China's voters don't directly elect their country's results. And precisely, oh my goodness. I can say that a lot of numbers.
That's true. Do you need some help, Ernesto? Who would like to read this number out? There must be someone who dares.
Can I
Jana,
do it?
go for it.
470,037,606 people.
Perfect. Thank you, Jana. And Ernesto, you can carry on.
Yes, thank you, Hannah. People voted at the last parliamentary election in 2009, a turn of singly under 16%.
Keep going.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Could you just read one more sentence for us, Ernesto, please?
There were 230,866 polling stations, including one in the western state of Oaxaca, which had a single voter, a temple character.
Thank you, Ernesto. Emmanuel, are you back?
Sorry, yeah, I'm back.
Could you continue reading, please, for us? This one here.
Yes. The Election Commission of India advises that no voter should have to travel more than 2 kilometers to the nearest polling station, and that if necessary, a separate polling station can be set up for the inmates of a leprosy sanitarium. India also holds the record for the most candidates for single constituency. 1,032 candidates stood for the Modakurashi Assembly seat in the Tamil Nadu state elections in 1996. All but two of the candidates lost their deposit, and 88 candidates did not get a single vote.
Thank you, everybody. Well done. Great reading from both of you. Let's just check that we understand everything. Are there any questions about vocabulary or meaning?
For the third sentence, last two words, for the inmates of a leprosy sanatorium, what does it mean?
Good question. Does anybody know what leprosy is?
Yeah, it's an illness.
Correct. It's an illness kind of the skin, I believe, and it's extremely contagious, I think. So the people who have this illness have to be, what we say is quarantined in some kind of a way. They have to stay away from everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A sanatorium is, you can see that it comes from Latin. It basically means a place of health. So a leprosy sanatorium is just somewhere that people with leprosy go to get better or recover.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? All right. Well, if you think of any, do let me know. So this is about voting and sort of like how politics works in India, which I'm imagining is a total nightmare because it seems to be a total nightmare in most countries, and India just has so many people. So it's the world's largest democracy. I just want to ask a few questions about your countries, about voting and how all of the politics sort of works. Let's ask Noelia first of all. Noelia, obviously Spain has a democracy as well. Do most Spanish people tend to vote in the elections? Do they care about politics, or are they a bit lazy?
I think they are lazy because it's not really that much, but yeah, they are lazy.
And why do you think they're lazy?
Yeah, because you know that here there are two main parties.
Yes.
So you are not really voting for the person, you're just voting for the party. So it's I think that for all these years, like they tend to be the same. Even though if you vote to one party or the other, that they're supposed to be different. You know, one side left-handed and right-handed, but in the end they are practically the same. You know, so I think that's why people stop caring about voting and being interested in politics, I think.
Yeah, all right. I think that's definitely happens in other places as well, Noelia. But thank you for sharing that with us.
Okay.
Let's ask Rafael. What happens in Brazil, Rafael? Do you guys all go out and vote for a president? Do you elect a party like Spain? Do people tend to vote?
No, we elect we elect exactly the president, but we had the option to vote for the party, but I think most people vote for the president. But I think it's our situation, our current situation is not that different from Spain. We have the left parties and we have the right parties, but at the end, everything the same. You know, so people are getting less interested in politics since lots of things happening, corruption and everything.
Yeah. So they feel, I guess what we're saying is that they feel a bit powerless. It's like that it doesn't really make much difference whether they vote or not, or who they vote for, right?
Yes. It's a kind of it's like this, yes.
Okay. Let's ask Emmanuel about Mexico. What happens in Mexico, Emmanuel?
Well, in Mexico there are more than two parties, um, and people sometimes tend to vote, but most of the time it depends of the popularity of the candidates. Um, there are two main parties in the country. One is the one of them have been in the power by 70 years,
Mm-hmm.
and well, there are always the left. Uh, how you call it? The
Left wing?
left wing, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But seems like here in Mexico, people tend to vote for the candidate, and older people tend to vote for their party. They follow a party for years. So
Mm-hmm.
young people tend to vote for the candidate, or if the candidate is popular, it will have a most of the young votes. Or some people reserves the, the vote and just don't vote. Hello?
Hey.
Hello?
Maybe she lost her connection.
Oh, she left.
Yes. She might lost connection.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm sorry, guys, but I have to go. So, bye bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hey, Amy.
Hi guys, can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that was weird because that wasn't even what has happened to me before. I don't know what happened there. I have no idea. I'm in complete baffling. I'm so sorry. Emmanuel, I was in the middle of listening to you tell me all about Mexico, and it was extremely interesting, and then suddenly I got chucked out, which is great. So you were telling me about voting. So you're saying that it's a similar situation with Rafael, I think. That not many
Yeah.
people in Mexico tend to vote.
Yeah, tends to vote depending on the candidate's popularity, but older people tend to vote for the party, and younger people tend to vote for the candidate, or tend to hear a little bit more of the proposals and things like that. And well, that's it.
All right, so yeah, I think it seems like almost a worldwide problem, that people aren't really caring that much about politics anymore, and I guess maybe it's because they just feel like it's not really making much difference. I say even in the UK it's like that. I mean, we have quite a low turnout when it's voting because people think, well, it doesn't really matter who wins, they're both pretty much the same anyway, so which is a bit sad, I think. But anyway, we've got one more point, guys. I think since there's just us three left, we can do this one. So, Raphael, would you like to read this one for us? So, from here.
If India was a Muslim state, India has the second or third highest population of Muslims in the world. Even though less than 15% of Indians are Muslim, the country's enormous population means that by this measure it outranks all Muslim majority countries, except Indonesia and possibly Pakistan. There are almost exactly the same numbers of Muslims in Pakistan as in India. The first Muslims in India are thought to have been traders who came to Kerala during the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad. Millions of Muslims migrated at the time of independence to either West or East Pakistan. They later became Bangladesh in 1971. But huge numbers also remained behind. Today, the only Muslim majority areas of India are the Kashmir Valley and the tiny Indian Ocean territory of Lakshadweep. India's Muslims are quite thinly spread across the rest of the country, though they are almost non-existent in parts of the northeast and in Punjab.
Thanks, Raphael. Great reading, as always. Here is one little word that you could improve on. This one's measure.
Measure.
Yeah, that's better. All right, so this is interesting.
Measure is incorrect.
No, measure.
Okay, measure. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this, guys. Is there anything that you don't understand? Any words in here that you're confused about? No?
Which is, I thought it was more. It's just 15% of the population in India is Muslims, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Less than, actually.
Yeah. Less than.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one because even though it's less than 15% of the entire population, it still manages to outrank all Muslim majority countries. So it still has more Muslims than all of the countries in the world which have a Muslim majority because it just has so many people. So there are many religions in India, I guess, and I think this is happening around the world now. But it's quite an interesting topic just to discuss what kind of religion is the most common in your countries. And I'm guessing, just because of your history, that most people technically are Catholic. Is that wrong or is that right?
Yeah, in Mexico, is that right?
How about Brazil? Yeah? So tell me, boys, what I'd like to know is, how does this, the Catholic religion, how do people show that they're Catholic? Or is it just something that you sort of think you are when you're born and you don't really do anything religious during your life? Or does it affect your countries in any way? Does it affect your government? How does it influence your lives? Let's ask Emmanuel first.
Yeah, how religion affects my life?
Yeah, and how the Catholicism is the noun sort of affects your country as a whole? Is it really obvious that Mexico is Catholic, and how would I be able to tell? And what kind of things do you guys do because of that?
Well, yeah, definitely Mexico is Catholic, and the Catholicism isn't uh, it's not an authoritarian religion, or I mean, people which is in this religion, it's not that it's not that, how can I say,
it's not obvious. It doesn't have much impact on their lives, perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps the religion doesn't impact that much our lives, because I see Muslims and other religions that religions, right, that they are very they are very they have discipline, or they are
Sorry, Emmanuel. I just missed that because it just cut out. It did what it did before. It's like this. I don't know what is happening. I just missed the part you said before discipline. Would you mind repeating it?
Yeah. Well, other religions, they are very disciplined.
Disciplined. Yeah, disciplined.
Yeah, and in the Catholicism, or at least in Mexico, we are not that disciplined in that. For example, not all the people go to the church every Sunday, or not every people go to the church even in a year. So so I think we're not, well, we are all in Mexico. We are obviously Catholic, but we don't visit the church enough, I think.
Yeah, okay. So what you can say in this case, Emmanuel, is that you're not really practicing Catholics, i.e. that you don't actually do the stuff that Catholics generally supposed to do, but you consider yourself Catholics inherently, perhaps.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
All right, great description. How about for you, Rafael? Is it similar in Brazil, or do people practice their Catholicism?
I think both Brazil and Mexico are the most Catholic countries of the world nowadays. We have Catholicism that has still a long influence, a big influence in our culture, and mostly it's very inserted in our politics. There is some examples. Lots of streets here has names of saints, and not only streets but also cities and states have also they were labeled and they were named in honor to some saints, and also in priests and members of the church, and there is also a strong influence in music, and also in common habits of. I think as a Mexican, people are used to go to church on Sundays, and it still have a big influence here. But lately, the Protestant church had had gained power, and the Catholic Church has lost a little bit of its influence, but
Okay.
still stronger. It's still stronger than. It's still the biggest church here, but
But things are changing, maybe.
yeah, things have changed lately, but it's still the biggest. The biggest church here is still the Catholic.
All right. And do you two, if you don't mind me asking, do you go to church? Are you kind of practicing Catholics or not really?
Not really. I'm not a big practical Catholic.
How about your parents, Raphael? Just interested in different generations, really. Your mum and your dad, are they different to you or the same?
My mom goes to church, but it's a Protestant. He goes to another church, not a Catholic.
Oh, interesting. And how about you, Emmanuel? Are you a practicing Catholic?
Not very often.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes once a month or once every 3 months.
And what about your parents? Are your parents practicing?
Well, my father used to be very Catholic, or used to practice Catholicism. He used to go to church every Sunday, and well, my mother used to do it. She still go to the church every Sunday, and when there is and she actually watch that religious TV channels. There's a TV channel, a Catholic TV channel, and she watch that TV channel, and she attend how you say the
Mass?
Misa.
Misa? Yeah.
Yeah.
We call it Mass in English.
Mass. Yeah, she attend Mass on TV and in the church.
All right. So I think definitely generations have different expectations, different traditions. But I suppose things are changing quite a lot. So. Interesting how we have certain countries around the world that have a real big influence from one religion or another. It's interesting how our world connects up and all the religions interact. Sometimes it's not so great. But thank you, boys, for participating. Sorry, we lost a few students along the way there. We lost the teacher as well. Temporarily. But have a great evening for both of you. Thanks for some great speaking. Don't forget to check the chat box for either great comments or suggestions for both of you. And I hope to see you again.
Great. Yes. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.